some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just...
Good morning, everyone, on this Saturday morning, and, well, a soggy Saturday morning if you're in the Midwest, or at least in Indiana. I'm not a meteorologist, and hell, I'm not going to join that field after the Karen Reed case, so, I mean, if it's raining where you are, congratulations, it's raining. Christine, good morning, and Tammy Bogart, good morning. Wolfram, thank you for doing your modeling mod duties, and Squid Pro Quo, and JKD Buck, Denise Sells, welcome. Well, it looks like, thank you, Squid. Let's spread the Walmart rapture around. Welcome, Audio Coffee. Well, I do have sad news. I didn't want to start out Saturday with sad news, but MASH star and animal activist Loretta Swit has passed away at 87. Now, I mean, I watched MASH reruns and she was HOTT hot. I mean, okay, not Loretta. Not that the other woman wasn't beautiful, but she was smoking on MASH. Actress Loretta Swit has passed away Friday. Her publicist Harlan Bowl confirmed it with UPI. Now, she was 87 and passed away at her New York City home at around 1:02 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Police reports suspect natural causes, but we are going to still wait for, a coroner's report. She won 2 Emmys out of 10 nominations for her role on MASH. She played Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, the role played by Sally Kellerman in the Rob Altman movie, based on the long-running series. Now, during the 11 seasons of MASH, she also starred in movies like Freebie and the Bean, S.O.B., and episodes of The Love Boat. Following the series, she continued to appear in theatrical and television movies, in episodes of Murder, She Wrote, Burke's Law, Diagnosis Murder. Her last on-screen role was in 2019's movie Play the Flute. I don't remember that. On stage, she performed in shows like Same Time Next Year, Shirley Valentine, and The Vagina Monologues. Because, actually, if my hormones could have a monologue with me, that would be really relatively freaking awesome. Like, I don't really care for my lady bits to have a talking role, but if my hormones could have a talking role with me and explain what the hell we're going and doing right now, that would be awesome. That being said, I do remember when the Vagina Monologues came out and I was in middle school and all of my friends and I didn't realize that it was about, well, look, we were 12. We all assumed that it was about talking lady bits. That being said, I do realize that it was a bit more of a, topical, conversation than that. She was born in Passaic, New Jersey on November 4th, 1937. And, again, just it seems like we're losing a lot of the actors that Okay, to be very fair, they were on Nick at Night or reruns, but they're all the actors, and I'm sure, it's probably not the same as if I'd grown up or were young when they were on, but it feels like those comforting actors that were always on shows that my mom wouldn't switch the TV over on, are leaving us, and it does feel like you lose kind of a collective bit of safe sometimes, or just nostalgia. And thank you. Let me pull this up. Big Dog 5758. Good morning from the fake state of Arizona. Well, Big Dog, I am glad that you live in Arizona, and if you like it, I hope you love it. It's Arizona is just too doggone hot for me, and I know it's a dry heat, but so is an oven, and so is my hair dryer, and I don't intend to live in my hair dryer. That being said, it does have some really beautiful vistas. So, Arizona is good if you like that. I don't know that I would be okay in the heat. I'm not a nice person in the heat. None of y'all want me near being hot around you. I'm just not nice. That's why it was good for everyone's sanity and safety that I was born in an age that had air conditioning. Now, Hollywood, I got two words for you. Don't, well, actually, I got a couple words for you. Don't screw this up. I swear to goodness, y'all, if you want to see Mo do a freaking meltdown, King of the Hill is one of my favorite shows, and I personally don't think it needs to be remade at all. I don't think you can remake it without, Dale Gribble, the original voice. I don't think you're going to be able to remake it. I don't want you to remake it. And if you screw it up, I will lose my mind. Now, the King of the Hill revival is getting a title sequence and an August premiere date. Now, I love King of the Hill, and I have to tell y'all, if you screw this up, me and a bunch of law tubers are going to get together and figure out a way to send you a cease and desist. You've already done screwed up. Let's see. Let's count the ways, shall we? Goonies, Willow, Star Wars. Well, anything for Marvel. Just about all of my childhood. Could you keep your hands off it? If you want to remake and destroy something, Captain Planet, no one wants it, no one cares, you can have it. Hulu has released a title sequence for its upcoming revival of the animated series King of the Hill, showing the Hills family exodus and then return to the town of Arlen, Texas. Now, the streaming service shared the opening title sequence for the upcoming King of the Hill Season 14, which shows Hank Hill and his family moving out of their Arlen home, only to return years later. After years working a propane job in Saudi Arabia to earn their retirement nest egg, Hank and Peggy have returned to a changed Arlen to reconnect with old friends Dale, Boomhauer, and Bill. Okay, again, how are we going to have Dale without Dale's voice? The official synopsis reads, meanwhile, Bobby is living his dream as a chef in Dallas and enjoying his 20s with former classmates Connie, Joseph, and Chang. So, King of the Hill, created by Mike Judge, aired original 13 seasons on Fox. Now, that original run ended in 2010. Now, Judge does return to voice Hank Hill alongside other returning cast members Kathy Nanjimi, Pamela Alderson, Stephen Brute, Lauren Tom, Toby Huss, Johnny Hardwick, who played Dale Gribble, unfortunately, has passed away. But he did start to work on it, so I don't know if they'll do a tribute episode or something like that. He passed away in August 2023. So there you go. I do hope that, it's good, but don't ruin my favorite show. I mean, just don't. Now, I don't know if this is heartwarming or, ma'am, I don't know that major is going to get you into any jobs. And I'm trying not to see it as a total, uh, well, jaded, you know, and totally on economic terms, but she majored in like three of the most useless things I have ever heard mentioned majored ever. I'm a grandmother of three and just graduated from college. Now I'm taking a millennial style gap year and celebrating with my new Gen Z pals. Well, I mean, I guess if you're a grandma of three, you really don't have to go into the workforce, possibly. So go on with your bad self, Granny. This new grad is celebrating with a post college rite of passage, a gap year, only she's doing it in her 70s. At 74, uh, Dorita Levi de Chelsea, a grandmother of three and self proclaimed lifelong learner, has just graduated with a bachelor's degree from Hunter's College, proving it's never too late to hit the books and rewrite your own story. My motto has always been don't let your age be a cage, the witty Upper East Sider told the Post, walking in Hunter's 228th commencement at Barclays Center on Friday, alongside more than 3,300 grads. Now, born and raised in Argentina, the stylish Silver Scholar has had a decades long detour before snagging her degree. After a cruel teacher in the first grade told her she'd never finish high school, oh, hell no. You do not. Oh, no. We're going to go get vengeance for grandma because teachers do never stifle a child like that. Again, as a child who didn't read comfortably, and I do mean read, like actually comprehend words until about the third grade because of undiagnosed dyslexia. Let me just explain to you how absolutely soul crushing those words can be as a child. And it almost made me want to give up reading until I found Little Mermaid books with pictures in them and I was able to decipher things. And sometimes you guys will notice I'll have to stare at a word because I'll just have to wait for that, word to particularly make sense or, not jumble up. And it's okay. That just means my brain takes, in information differently. And that's fine. But those words can be so incredibly hurtful for a child. And I hope no teacher does that anymore. Due to a learning disability, she avoided college entirely despite an unshakable love for learning and a longing to pursue her higher education. You always learn, and I worked my life toward that verdict, she told the Post, but every time I walked by a university, I felt this sadness and longing inside me. I wanted to go in there. I wanted to learn. Now, thankfully, at Hunter College in New York City, this is the only place in the world that I think would have welcomed me, notwithstanding my age or who I am. Her college comeback began in 2017 when she enrolled at the Borough of Manhattan Community College and earned her associate's degree in 2019. Mr. Burgess, what the hell is your excuse? Madam has, a learning disability and had to do an entire lifetime of lifetiming before she got her, associates in 2 years. Now, I mean, call me crazy, but if grandma can do it, I think you can too, sir. I know you have your associate, sir. I'm talking about that march to your master's or your bachelor's. That being said, she did actually earn it in 2019 with a flawless 4.0 GPA as the co-valedictorian of her class. Then came Hunter College, where she racked up a 3.98 GPA, triple majored in German language and literature, English with a concentration in creative writing and studio art, also making best friends with people more than half her age. One of them was 20-year-old classmate named Bopsy, who is younger than her actual granddaughter. She noted, and yet they've become such close pals that Babsy came to cheer her on at her graduation and even set up a WhatsApp video so her classmate in Pakistan could watch too. I thought that was very moving, she said. So again, all of this, I'm joking about her majors, but this is such a absolutely, good story. Never stop learning. And just because it isn't a degree, as much as I make fun of Mr. Burgess, I'm not one that thinks that wisdom is locked up in colleges. I have known some of the dumbest people with doctorates and some of the smartest people who didn't graduate high school. So, it's all about how you choose to intake wisdom and, pass it along. Now, after the ceremony, which would also be attended by her proud children and grandchildren, the Brainy Besties planned to celebrate with burgers at USE's hotspot, J.G. Mellon. Now, Lev Vanselsky's passion for people, prose, shaped her college experience. For me, it's important to look, at you in the eye and know who you are, she explained. Sometimes it comes across as if you're nosy or curious, but I'm always very interested in the human being who's sitting across from me. Being less ignorant about the other person makes you more compassionate. I've made great connections at Hunter because I'm always asking everyone, who are you, what motivates you, and where are you from? It wasn't just fellow students who made an impact. Professors also left their mark, especially those who helped nurture her love for literature. I love creative writing and history, so there's so many things, she said, revealing the brainy books and subjects she's devoured. I like reading Frank Kafka in German and studying problems that arise when translating it to English or any other language. That, I think, is something very interesting. Her literary tastes skew philosophical and are really inspired by early 20th century Austrian author Stefan Zweig. So again, she seems like she is living her best life. I am all for it. If she wants to take a gap year, just, you know, pace yourself. If you need a walker, ma'am, same here. Don't let it get you down. Bedazzle the hell out of that thing. Mr. Mo, would you like to say hi as you're trying to sneak in and get snacks?
Hi.
They can't see you.
That's terrible.
We have to. So, Mr. Mo was craving apple granola bars earlier, or not, like little apple fig Newtons. And the problem is I bought him a box last week at the grocery store, but the kids ate it all, so he has to hide them in, his old room, my current room. So he's always sneaking in here. It's like he doesn't remember I've always streamed. Well, I guess this is off time. I'll give him this one. In another thing for sad news, and look, I know not all of you guys are Christians or, universe or whatever you believe in. And I'm not trying to be political or anything here, but this young man is facing more tumors, and I did want to get his story out here, because I am a firm believer that, maybe thoughts and prayers don't, do anything on a tangible level, but I think knowing that you have a bunch of people behind you gives you the courage to fight that extra bit harder and really continue in the best possible spirits. DJ Tanner, teen cancer survivor sworn as an honorary Secret Service agent by Trump, has unfortunately had a heartbreaking new diagnosis. The family of DJ Daniel recently received a devastating diagnosis just months after the teen brain cancer survivor captured America's hearts when he was sworn in as an honorary member of the Secret Service, force by President Trump. DJ, who was given just 5 months to live after being diagnosed with incurable brain and spine cancer in 2018, they've unfortunately found 3 new tumors. His father, Theodotus Daniel, told Fox 7 Austin last week. It's rough. There isn't any class that can teach you how to deal with it. You're hearing that your child has a nasty disease, the heartbroken dad said. We're just going and showing people, hey, you do care for one another. Let's give compassion and try to join and help each other get through things, he added. Now, DJ, who dreams of becoming a police officer, was thrust into the national spotlight when he was sworn in as an honorary protector of Trump during the president's address to a joint session of Congress on March 4th. The teen has nearly completed his quest to be sworn in by at least 1,000 law enforcement agencies across the country, which would be a Guinness World Record. He already holds multiple records, including most keys to the city and most proclamation days. And he's just such a sweet kid, and he speaks with such heart, such compassion, and it's just heartbreaking to hear this news, y'all. Like I was tearing up when I read it. So I hope that, DJ's family knows, even from the weird, auntie, crazy redheaded auntie, she's behind him. You got a lot of people behind you. Now, after his Secret Service honor, DJ got calls from law enforcement agencies throughout the country, including from Deputy Jeffrey Combs of Williams County Sheriff's Office in Texas. I saw Theodotus pick up his son, and I felt that unconditional love, and I just knew I had to find DJ. So that's how it all worked out, he told Fox 7 last week. The teen has been keeping up good spirits. During the Williams County ceremony, DJ rubbed deputies' bald heads for luck. The youngster was just as upbeat at another recent swearing in, this one in Polk County, Florida. I'll just keep going until my gas tank runs out, and that's when God calls you home. Oh, I'm even going to start crying now, damn it. Daniels told officers, the craziest thing is on my 11th brain surgery, God told me I was one of his angels, and I'm doing his work. And on my 12th surgery, he gave me wings, and he told me I'm going to be able to take those back until, you graduate the school called life. So, I hope he's okay. It's just my mama's heart. I don't want any family to have to go through this. I'm not crying. You are crying. It is dusty, and it's the pollen. It's the pollen. Well, I mean, if anything could get my moodometer from sadness to rage, it's this Shrek douchebag. Well, suspected Gilgo Beach serial unaliver Rex Heuermann made a pass at a creeped-out Long Island woman just days before his arrest. Yeah, ma'am, that's what you call luck, and Jesus was saving you. Go on and do kind things. Now, accused Gilgo Beach serial unaliver Rex Heuermann made an unwanted pass at a creeped-out train goer just days before his shocking arrest for the infamous murders, according to the commuter, who took secret videos of the chilling encounter. Kaylin Morales was on her way home from a dinner date in the Big Apple, riding a nearly empty Babylon-bound LIRR train around 7:45 p.m. on July 1st, 2023, when things took a chilling turn. That's when Heuermann, 61, plopped down right into the seat next to her, despite the rest of the car being deserted. Yeah, that's a no. I just thought he was this big, fat, ugly white man. Obviously, I didn't know who he was at the time, Morales told the Post. It was just so weird that the rest of the seats were empty and he had to sit right next to me. I was on high alert at that point. Morales, who had her legs stretched out onto the seat across from her own, recalled the hair-raising comment that Heuermann made to her as he sat down. He said, "Oh, well, don't you move your pretty legs. I won't bother you. Again, don't sit next to me if there's an empty seat. Just no. Like, if there are a bunch of empty seats, don't mess with me." And apparently she was so in fear that she started filming just to give herself, evidence of this guy being super weird. Now, feeling very uncomfortable, the Bayshore resident started secretly recording videos and pictures of Heuermann as they pulled out of Penn Station. Just in case, for my own safety, I was like, let me just get some evidence of who this person is. In one Snapchat clip, which Morales captioned at the time, like, why the F is there mad open seats, and this guy sits right next to me and can't stop talking to me. Like I literally can't ever catch a break. It shows Herman wearing khaki cargo pants holding a Miller Lite can. Now that video cuts to a close-up of Morales' face, which shows her frowning. So yeah, she caught him dead to rights. In another video captioned, "The cracking of a new drink is crazy, crying emoji, I simply can't," shows Herman's stubby fingers cracking his second beer, while the phone sitting on his thigh appears to show a New York Post article. I could have moved, but I was like, is he going to say something else to me? Like, I just don't want to interact with this man any further. Everything about him was sussing me out. So I thought the best thing to do was ignore him, put my iPods in, and look out the window. And she already felt boxed in by his larger body. Now, although she could see and feel Herman talking to her, the music in her AirPods intentionally drowned out his voice. Another clip shows Herman exiting the train at Massapequa, where he lived for years before getting nabbed for the infamous murders. When news of Herman's arrest broke nearly 2 weeks later, Morales was aghast. My heart sank to the floor. It was literally the craziest feeling. I couldn't believe it. She decided to submit the clips she had taken of Herman to the Suffolk County Crime Stoppers in case it could have been of use, and ended up getting interviewed by a detective on the case who had confirmed it had been Herman sitting next to her on the train. A spokesperson for the Suffolk County District Attorney said their office could not confirm or deny any details about the ongoing investigation. The Suffolk County Police Department declined to comment. Now, nearly 2 years after that creepy encounter, Morales finally felt safe enough to post them on her TikTok account May 5th. I was worried if I posted right after his arrest, if he had had a partner, I didn't want them coming after me, so I waited. After I watched the Netflix documentary and I saw that he did this alone, ma'am, just a little side note. Netflix is not an actual investigation, so, and they're the media, and I mean, they also do very, obvious, swaps in historical dramas, so might not be the best place to get your, true crime fix. Again, Netflix is not an investigation. It's the media. Herman, who has pled guilty, or pled not guilty, to murdering 7 women, will return to Suffolk County Criminal Court on June 17th. A trial date for the murderers has not been set. He is being held in Riverhead Correctional Facility. So a, quick save for them, or for this particular young lady, and hopefully we get the real, story of what happened to the unfortunate victims of this man allegedly. Now, to all of my UK people, I approve and allow this. If you haven't had a sausage roll, I make my own at home because I live in Indiana, and our selection of UK snack foods is a bit low, but I love my homemade sausage rolls, and there's a good thing I wasn't, born in the UK, because I'd be 827,000 pounds. Between Bakewell tarts and sausage rolls, I'd be out. Madame Trousseau's in London, I guess, establishment opens a sculpture of a Greg's sausage roll. Like I said, I approve. I do approve. Famed wax museum, Madame Tussauds in London, has unveiled its latest recreation of one of Britain's most beloved icons, a sausage roll from bakery chain Greg's. Now, the museum showcased its, Greg's sausage roll wax sculpture in the run-up to National Sausage Roll Day, which falls on June 5th. Like, this is the holiday I've been waiting for. For a limited time only, the beloved British classic has secured a top spot in our Baker Street Attractions Cultural Capital Zone alongside the likes of Sir David Attenborough, Stormzy, and William Shakespeare, Madame Trousseau said in a news release. The Culture Capital Zone is dedicated to those who have helped shape the landscape of British culture, from trailblazing artists to political giants, and now the golden flaky pastry icon of British cuisine. The sausage roll is a savory treat made by wrapping a sausage in puff pastry, then baking it. We're absolutely thrilled that Madame Tussauds London has chosen to honor Greg's sausage roll in such a unique and iconic way. Greg's CEO, Rosin Curry, said, It's a true celebration of a national favorite, and we couldn't think of a more fitting tribute in the lead up to National Sausage Roll Day." Now, as much as I love the sausage roll, I will probably never be adventurous enough to try jellied eels. No offense to anyone who really, really likes them. They just look like God's worst jello to me. I understand if it's like a comfort food for you, but from the outside looking in, it looks like, again, God's worst jello beyond lime flavor. But that's just my opinion. If you like, jellied eels or, sausage rolls, I say eat what you like. As long as I don't have to do the dishes, I have no dog in the fight. In this, it takes a while for my kids to be smarter than me, and that's the only time I have the advantage. So imagine having a Mensa member at 2. A 2-year-old with a photographic memory and the ability to spell, I'd be lost. He's a little genius with a big IQ. At just 2 years and 182 days old, Joseph Harris Bertrell is the youngest ever member of Mensa, a society exclusive for people with exceptionally high intelligence quotients. Now, Mensa, the world's largest, most recognized society for brainiacs, admits only those who score in the top 2% on standardized IQ test, and the threshold that starts in is 132. Look, autocorrect doesn't even know what I'm trying to spell half the time, so this counts me the way out at a couple years older than 2. We hope that this accomplishment can give him a sense of pride when he's older. It's a very unusual accolade, and the credit is all his mother Rose, who lives in the UK, told Guinness World Records. Now, while his exact IQ hasn't been revealed, Joseph's incredible intellect pushed him to surpass the record of even the youngest, prior to this, the youngest ever Mensa member, a title previously held by Isla McNabb, the little Einstein from Kentucky, who was awarded the honor in 2023 when she was 2 years old and 195 days. So, yeah, he beat her by a couple days. To qualify for membership, individuals must demonstrate exceptional cognitive abilities in several different intellectual areas, including problem solving, logic, and language comprehension. Wait, a 2-year-old that's going to remember where I put the Pop-Tarts every time? This is not good. They're evolving. It soon became clear that he was exceptionally, an exceptional little being. He rolled over at 5 weeks. His first words were said at 7 months, and he read his first book out loud, cover to cover, at 1 3/4 years old. I'm still waiting for my middlemost feral to read a book cover to cover. But I will say my middlemost feral also struggles with dyslexia, and he has grown leaps and bounds. So while this little boy is incredibly smart, there is different kind of intelligence, and I think there is a certain kind of intelligence and dogged determination to improve, and my middle son would go to Mensa for that. If there was a Mensa for hard work, that's where he'd go. By 2 and a quarter years old, he was already reading out fluently for 10 minutes at a time and could count to 10 in 5 languages, also counting forward and backwards to well over 100. Now, his parents, both academic professionals, recognized early on that Joseph's abilities might require more than just the usual, childhood environment. Rose is a honorary senior lecturer at the University of London, and David is a senior lecturer at the University of St. Andrews, and they reached out to Mensa to get support for their son after it became clear that his advanced reading skills, showed his extraordinary intellect level. And for kids like this, for kids who are extremely gifted, they need to be challenged, but not burnt out. So there needs to be a lot of people who can really nurture their, thirst for knowledge, that stimulation, but not let them burn out and have too many, crazy expectations that are way beyond their tiny bodies, if not their tiny minds. And I'm not saying tiny like they lack intelligence, but there are certain things that even if you are super incredibly smart, there are social things that you just don't get for years later. The youngster continues to impress his parents and those around him as he learns new skills and talents. He is learning Morse code for starter and even knows the Greek alphabet. Baker would be so proud of him, he could speak Danish. And has recently been interested in the periodic table, learning the piano, and has a knack for new languages. Now, the knack for new languages is also a function of his age and the brain's neuroplasticity for languages and language retention. And in that age period, those early crucial years it's really easy to learn and things like that, because that is where your brain is building those, language building block connections. And if you have multiple building blocks, it's not as kind of confusing and as difficult as it is when you're an adult. So learn all the languages, because I only know English, and sometimes even I don't do that right. And Baker's been trying to teach me Danish, but I don't think I can, talk from my tonsils like that. He loves a challenge, and he's really he likes getting exhilarated by complexity, whether it's learning chess or poring over new words and concepts that he hasn't come across before. His family's really proud that he, of his intellect, but more than that, that he's kind, loving, confident, and curious, and incredibly determined. Now, Mensa has been a critical resource for Joseph, offering not only intellectual stimulation, but a sense of community with other gifted children. His membership is not only a source of pride, but is a unique opportunity for Joseph to be surrounded by kids who are kind of like him. It's a unique misconception that everything is super easy for gifted children, but everyone needs appropriate stimulation and understanding through their lives, and highly able learners can sadly have their unique talents dimmed by the pressure to fit into environments that simply haven't been properly designed for them. We're incredibly proud of him. He's our son. So I love that they're stimulating him, but also being very guarded to not push him too much, to make him a circus sort of amusement and things like that. Well, it's finally happened. China has finally made real steel. A Chinese company holds the world's first humanoid robot fighting competition. You know, I always thought Rock'em Sock'em robots would look funner if they used real robots. Chinese robotics company Unitree showcased fighting capabilities of its G1 model robot and what it advertised as the world's first ever humanoid robot fighting competition. Now, if you remember Real Steel, and I think five of you do, starring Hugh Jackman as not the Wolverine. As struggling ex-boxer who was teaching a robot to fight, it was set in the near future, but who would have thought that we would have had a pale and ridiculous looking imitation so soon? Just last week, Unitree, a robotics company based in Let's see, China's Zhejiang province. Look, don't come at me, China. I don't know. You have ZH and it's supposed to be a C. Look, I failed American hooked on phonics. You think I'm going to get Chinese hooked on phonics? Just give me a pass on this one. It held a unique kickboxing competition to show the capabilities of its G1 robot. Now standing at 4 feet 3 inches tall and weighing about 77 pounds, the G1 is a small, lightweight robot capable of smooth, fluid movements and displaying impressive balance and recovery abilities. And what better way to showcase this than featuring, two G1 robots trying to, well, fight like someone dishonored their mom. Your mother was a computer board. Your mother never knew the chip that fathered you. I mean, I don't know how one would insult a robot, but I'm sure it would involve their motherboard. Now, why are they wearing headgear? What in the name of all that is unholy? Why is there headgear on the robot that doesn't have a brain? I give up. But there you go. Just when you thought the world couldn't get more disappointing, or the future couldn't, because, no jetpacks, no Rosie, the household, sassy robot, and no real steel. What can you do? In a story that, I think could need a trip to Snake Island, because I don't know what possesses you to do this, then continue to watch the car crash, but this next story is going to need a one-way ticket.
It's a curse, we got room for the wicked, the cruel and the worst. If you lie, if you cheat, if your soul's made of bile, you're bound for the fangs and the venom in style. Oh, one-way ticket to Snake Island. Oh, let the conscience, less cowards and gaslighters go. No anchor, no lifeboat, no tearful goodbyes. Trust isn't uncommon in cold-blooded skies. Best of your friends.
Now, I don't know if he didn't take her to prom or what happened, but I don't really know any excuse that allows for this. A Louisiana woman beat a man with a bat, then left his body in the street where he was unfortunately run over by two passing cars. I mean, doesn't she look like a holy ray of I done told you so? And as much as I joke about, Mr. Mo being cute for his safety, this is going a little too far. A Louisiana woman allegedly beat a man to a pulp in the street Friday, then left him there to pass away as two cars then ran over his crumpled body moments later, according to police. Tanisha Mitchell, 43, allegedly whacked Jean Hill, 42, in the head and body several times with a bat. Do you happen to know Sarah Boone? Are y'all starting a softball team from hell, like Harpies from Hell softball league? I mean, see y'all in the state prison circuit. After they got into a heated argument in her car that spilled out onto the street around, midnight, according to Glasgow Parish Sheriff's Office. Now, Hill was beaten so severely that he fell to the ground as Mitchell fled the scene. So she just left him in the street. Now, the victim could not get to his feet and was subsequently hit by two passing cars, leading to his passing. In addition to manslaughter, Mitchell is also accused of trying to destroy evidence at different spots in the area following the beating, the sheriff's office said. She was later arrested at home. It is unclear what relationship what had occurred between the suspect and the victim. She is facing charges of manslaughter and second-degree battery and has been detained. Now, I don't know if there's going to be an upgrade, because it doesn't seem... If she is getting manslaughter, then so should Karen Reed by the, left him injured and didn't render aid standard. But they are different states, so different states are going to have different levels. Now, if you need a coach, maybe you shouldn't play the sport. I mean, call me crazy, but divorce coaches, I mean, I have seen many things in this newfangled feature, but I'd much rather have, a jetpack than a divorce coach. They are the new must have for married couples looking to split up, and they're charging $300 an hour. I mean, excuse me. Hello, I'm Mo, your divorce coach. How to teach you not to be cunts to each other. I'll take $300 now. Couples who are on the brink of divorce are already shelling out hundreds of dollars per hour to pay for not therapy, because why work on your marriage, but a divorce coach. Nowadays, 40 to 50% of people's first marriages, I mean, I like to call those rental marriages because nothing parties like a rental. Also, don't get married in your 20s unless you're very smart or very blessed. End in Splitsville. So, to make things even more real, reportedly every 42 seconds, a U.S. couple, well, says goodbye to matrimony. Now, while divorce is more normalized these days, there is no denying that sometimes it's messy, painful, and leads to me following your trial on my Petty Express streams and or Legal Shenanigans Theater, Lori Vallow, Dork Bell. So these unhappy couples navigate their closing chapter in life. They're hiring divorce coaches and they're not afraid to pay a pretty penny for them. Now, Renee Garcia is a men's divorce and recovery coach based in Miami and Los Angeles. Well, I mean, I guess. Now, he has been through divorce himself. I'm not only a client, but I'm a president, making him the ideal person to provide guidance and support while, distressed people are trying to stay afloat during a rather difficult time in their lives. Now, according to Hustle, some of the services these coaches provide are helping clients parse out emotional reactions from information in their legal cases, working with attorneys to provide extra support and help strategize a plan for post divorce life. Garcia takes things a step further by helping divorcees with their well being and eventually their dating lives. He also offers individual coaching sessions and is on call 24/7. Oh, hell no. No, no. 24/7. No, no. Back with Mo, your news host, making, well, not exactly $300 an hour, but having way more fun than being on call 24/7 for emotionally needy and hysterical people. No offense, if that's your job, have fun with it, but no. Now, of course, this service comes with a hefty fee. His rates start at 1,600 per hour. Again, excuse me a second. Welcome back to your 24-hour divorce coach. While I've never divorced anyone, I am willing to give you, well, at least like tens and 15s of minutes of my time a day to help you with your relationship. For $1,600 an hour, I'll even sing you a little ditty. Now, if couples want to try to, do whatever they can to avoid becoming a statistic, they need to steer clear of making a few common mistakes in their marriages. Marriage can be a beautiful thing, but it requires work and attention in addition to love. And I think that's a thing that, longer married people, you know, it's a bit of a hard lesson to learn, even, every year where you have to grow and learn and try to understand how your partner not only sees the world, but how to communicate your wants and needs, but then to how to fulfill their needs, you know, in a way that doesn't have you both strangling each other. It's not easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. Marriage is not the wedding day. It's not the big wedding cake. It's the, okay, I got the kids for, I'll get the kids to this practice, this practice. We'll make macaroni and cheese. We'll live on ramen noodles so that we can take them to Disney World. That's real marriage. Real marriage is like, Mr. Mo and I never thought that I would, have a health scare. I would, our lives would change. We were looking forward to like being that kind of, 40-year-old couple out there doing whatever, hiking and, going across the United States in an RV. But life changes and you have to be willing to grieve and, talk and honor and respect all the feelings that come up with that. And that is a huge thing. Trying to be on the same page as a person who may not, see the world the way you do. Mr. Mo is logical, and I normally try to base my arguments or if I need to present something to him in logic, except for those like 99.9 other percent of the time where I'm ruled by my hysterical current dramatic stress syndrome and I'm just, needing to be talked down just a scotch. So again, marriage is hard, divorce is hard, being overweight is hard, being skinny is hard. Every life and every day is going to have its own hard, and you have to pick which hard you want to choose because it is a choice sometimes. Unless, look, laying hands on, cheating on, any sus or, illegal stuff, I say kick him to the curb or her or Zimzer. It is 2025. But marriage is hard, life is hard. You either want to put your effort into it or you don't. I don't know. I mean, here I am giving out free life coaching for free. Damn. I never will be a business person. Now, look, I'm just going to call final form Jesus for the absolute stupidity that this next person showed.
The key-keeped grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Now, I guess this passenger in seat 1B has been living under a rock for the last 25 years and, hasn't been with us through this particular march through history. But let's just hear what he had to say because, again, how dumb do you have to be? Now, a man's question got him reported to the head flight attendant and then, to security. A first-class Delta passenger flying on a red-eye from Maui to Fort Lauderdale encountered a recent flight experience on Reddit, titling the post, "In today's edition of Things Not to Ask a Flight Attendant," the passenger wrote that just as cabin service was about to begin, the flyer seated directly in front of them in 1B pulled one of the flight attendants aside to ask a question. And he was like, "Hey, totally random question, but on the last couple flights, I've noted that the flight attendants didn't block the access to the galley when the pilot used the lavatory," that passenger said, before asking, "Is this a new procedure for you guys?" Again, as a person who apparently missed all of 2001, we're kind of confused about why he would ask this. And not just simply make, notes in his, super secret agent notebook. Now the flight attendant allegedly responded, "I don't know, it's news to me," before proceeding to inform the cabin manager. Now the poster claims that the cabin manager then approached the passenger sitting in 1B to ask him about his inquiry. The passenger responded that he was just curious before he laughed it off. Yeah, no, sir, you're lucky I'm not the flight attendant because I'd have duct taped you. I'd have been like, "Sus, he is sus, red flag right here, and cheer. And we need to duct tape him, cheer, and cheer." Now, the cabin manager told the passenger that the information wasn't something they were allowed to discuss with him before the passenger responded with, "Oh, excuse me, I didn't realize I wasn't able to ask questions. I thought this was America." Yeah, exactly. We were attacked on, in 2000 and one with airplanes. So we kind of don't give that, out to just anyone. I mean, I understand you're in business class, but for, trade secrets and security information, you're at least going to need to be a double platinum gold member, sir. Now, the passenger or the cabin manager proceeded to inform the dumbass passenger that any questions related to security would not be given to him. Now, he seemed to be a little confused about why that was, and to which the person behind him had to yell out, "Seriously? You don't know? Do you remember 9/11? We can't talk about this stuff, so thanks for letting us know that you've been really observant on our prior flights." I'm sure this next story is going to be this man after, the all the letter agencies get through with him. Just absolutely ridiculous. That being said, Jen, I could understand like a child but even if you do notice it, it might be like the thing to keep that noticing to yourself. That being said, well, I think he noticed a new procedure. That being said, yeah, who knows? But yeah, don't maybe, keep tabs on where the pilot is and ask the cabin crew if you don't want to get what I like to call a colon cancer screening from the federal government. But I mean, it's up to you if you'd like one, on Uncle Sam's dime. Do what you're gonna do. I'm not your mom. I can't tell you what to do. I can give you free advice, but I can't tell you what to do. Now, to wrap up, as always, justice is a journey, but Lord Chippy awaits. We do have some fun stories after Lord Chippy, but we've got a couple that, Saturday can't keep Lord Chippy from working.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Now, I have already used final form Jesus, and I don't want to call him back, but this woman, by the power of this brown pen and my just irrational rage against you, ma'am, I excommunicate you from being a mother and a woman. You are now simply a female. Not sure about human, don't know if the DNA test came out. Also, why are you squinting at me? You're the one who showed her ugly soul, not me. She tried to choke him with a rosary. Now, as a grandma who would not let her wear, my grandma, again, if you are Catholic, you do realize that wearing a rosary is not something you typically do. So just the misuse of a rosary alone, she is going to Lord Chippy. She tried to unalive her 8-year-old with a series of household items, including a rock, a tile, and a bag. Now, I hope Gen Pop Justice knows what you done, ma'am. And bon voyage, bichacho. I hope, we never see you in the light of day again. A 36-year-old female in Arizona is accused of trying to unalive her 8-year-old multiple times with a series of household instruments, including tile flooring, a rosary that she attempted to use as a garrote. What in the name of Hades in a handbasket? They're typically not that strong unless they're individually knotted, but I mean, still just that thought of trying to use it as a garrote. What a gross, disgusting, absolute, I hope Jesus visits you in your cell and it's table flipping Jesus, because that's my favorite one. Now, Erica C. and Encinas was taken into custody Monday and charged with first-degree attempted murder, aggravated assault strangulation, and aggravated assault on a minor, along with CA. Now, according to the Mesa Police Department, officers around 6:15 a.m. on Sunday responded to a home on Broadway Road in regard to a reported DV incident. Now, the caller, later identified as Erica, allegedly told an emergency dispatcher that she had physically laid hands on her 8-year-old son, who is said to have special needs. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders said they found the victim severely injured and in need of medical attention. Emergency personnel were able to get him to a local hospital where he was admitted with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, when questioned by authorities, Erica admitted that she had been planning to take her son out for a while and had just made several unsuccessful attempts to do that. The hell you say, heifer? Like, the actual fuck do you say, ma'am? Like, look, like, sir, I had it on my to-do list both Monday and Tuesday, but you know how early weeks can get ahead of you. Again, just what in the Hades in a handbasket is going on here? Now, prosecutors revealed that additional disturbing details about the alleged incident have come out in her initial appearance. During the proceedings, Deputy County Attorney Ashley Stetson explained what the state believes Erica did to her child. First, she tried to hit him over the head with a rock, prosecutors reportedly told the court. When that didn't do anything, she then tried to smother him with a trash bag. And finally, when that didn't work, Your Honor, she tried to choke him with a rosary. Stetson stated that Erica's initial plan was to take her son to a nearby creek and, he couldn't swim, if you can connect the dots. Additionally, the prosecutor told the court that Erica's 12-year-old daughter was present during all of these horrific attacks and tried to help her brother. In the process of that, her other minor child did try to intervene, Your Honor, to save her sibling. However, at the time, the suspect did lay hands on the second minor victim in order to, continue her assault on the other child. Again, monster woman. Again, Elon, don't even waste time sending her to space. I'm sure you could just duct tape her to a rocket. She actually went to the point of, during a brief struggle with the older child, bit her own older child. Well, you know what they do to dogs that bite people a number of times? I say we need to check her for rabies, and then the local pound needs to be called. Sarah McLachlan, we don't need your sad crying video for this heifer, okay? Now, following the hearing, Erica was remanded to jail in lieu of a $250,000 cash-only bond. Finally, Texas, thank you for doing a bond that makes sense. Because F this woman. Now, in, again, a what in the Walmart rapture story, and it does look like this case is going to need a bit of a deeper dive into it, and as it goes through toward trial, because the attacker in this particular situation is alleging SA, but I don't know, when you execute someone, then you go to get a tattoo. I don't know how much I believe that you believe in the sanctity of, human rights. A U.S. Coast Guard vet turned OnlyFans model is now facing a decades-long prison sentence for luring a man she claimed SA'd her into the woods of a national park in Ohio and executing him. Chelsea Perkins pled guilty on Tuesday to second-degree murder in the 2021 death of 31-year-old Matthew Dunmeyer in Cuyahoga Valley National Park near Cleveland. Hikers in the Terra Vista Natural Study area of the park found Dunmeyer's body at around 11 a.m. March 9th, 2021, according to a probable cause arrest affidavit. Now, he had a single gunshot wound to the back of his head and an Aquafina bottle next to him. FBI agents later learned that Dunmire had gone out with friends and a co-worker to a bar about 4 days before the discovery of his body. Dunmire had told all of his friends that he was going to meet a woman who was in town for the weekend. The woman showed up in a white car, and his boss watched him get inside and leave. License plate readers show that the car belonged to Perkins' husband. Investigators later learned that the pair had driven to an Airbnb that the defendant had rented using her credit card. After spending the night with Dunmire, Perkins sent a Facebook message to her tattoo artist in Metro Detroit that she was in Cleveland and was going to make a stop first before driving to Michigan, according to investigators. Now, the pair drove to a national park on the morning of March 6, 2021, and hikers heard a gunshot between 11:30 a.m. and 11:50 a.m. Another pair of hikers reported encountering a woman later confirmed to be Perkins, who was walking away and appeared to be lost, although it was a bit odd that she was wearing knee-high boots and not hiking gear. Yeah, leave your thigh highs at home if you're going to go engage in, first-degree red rum. Now, Perkins then drove to a tattoo parlor in Michigan. Agents keyed in on Perkins as a suspect and found the same car parked outside her husband's home in Virginia just a couple of weeks later. The DNA on the suspect was also found on the Aquafina bottle as well as on Dunmire's body. After a short stint in the Coast Guard, Perkins went on to become an OnlyFans model under the name of Sabrina Savage, the Cleveland Plain Dealer reported. As for Perkins' alleged SA's, allegations against Dunmire, police in Virginia Beach said there was not enough evidence to move forward with the charge. The case took a twist in November 2021 when Dunmire's parents, upset that Perkins had not yet been arrested, took matters into their own hands. Dunmire's mother, Tommy Lynn Dunmire, and father, John Nelson McQuillan, drove to Washington, D.C. with plans on unaliving Perkins, according to the feds. Now, Tommy Lynn Dunmire was dressed up as a UPS driver and knocked on the apartment door. When a woman answered, she was shot twice in her abdomen. The problem? The woman, unfortunately, who answered the door was not Perkins, and the older Dunmire had just shot a woman that had nothing to do with their son's murder. Tommy Lynn Dunmire and McQuillan changed their license plates on their vehicle, but cops still managed to track them down. Now, they shot themselves as officers were closing in. The woman she shot survived her injuries, and federal agents arrested McQuillan, who later pled guilty to accessory after the fact to assault with the intent to kill. He received a 3-year prison sentence. Matthew Dunmire's obituary described him as a free spirit who loved music, playing the guitar, and being with his friends. Now, Perkins does face between 20 to 25 years in prison when she is faced on September 9th. Yeah, ma'am, just go directly under the prison. I mean, I'll be fine with it if you do. And let's see. For our last 2 stories, now I'll just go ahead and tell y'all, I will never be a spelling bee winner. So a Texas teen overcoming his self-inflicted flub to win the Scribs National Spelling Bee. I didn't even make it out of my class's spelling bee. It's always those I before E except after C words, except when they don't do that always confuse me. But that being fair, usurp has confused me on several occasions. Fazan Saka's enthusiasm for spelling nearly got the better of him, but ultimately his joyful approach made him the Scribs National Spelling Bee champion. The favorite entered the spelling bee after his runner-up finished last year, during which he never misspelled a word in conventional spelling, only losing a lightning round tiebreaker that he didn't practice for. The shaggy-haired Fazan wore the burden of expectations lightly, sauntering to the microphone in a black hoodie and spelling his words with casual glee. Throughout Thursday night's finals, the 13-year-old from Allen, Texas, looked like a champion in the waiting, then he nearly threw it away. But even a shocking moment of overconfidence couldn't prevent him from seizing the title of best speller in the English language. Again, this was never going to be in the cards for me, and I made peace with that when I couldn't spell my first name. With the B down to 3 spellers, Sarvadana Kadim, Sabar Deharvaneh, had both missed their words back to back, putting Fazan 2 words away from the victory. The first word was camelina. But instead of asking the 2 requisite questions, language definition and language of origin, to make sure he knew what it meant, he let his showman's instinct take over. He first started KAM, then he stopped himself and said, okay, let me do this. Oh, shoot. Just ring the bell, he told the head judge, Mary Brooks, who obliged. So now you know what happens, Brooks said. The other 2 spellers returned to the stage. Later, standing next to the trophy with confetti at his feet, he said that he is definitely going to be having nightmares about that later on that night. Even pronouncer Jacques Bailey tried to slow Fazan down before his winning word. Eclaircissement? I mean, does it have anything to do with eclairs? Because I don't know what that is. But he didn't ask a single question before spelling it correctly as he pumped his fist and collapsed to the stage after the final letter was said. The B celebrated its 100th year anniversary this year, and he may be the first champion who's remembered more for a word he got wrong than a word he got right. I think he cared too much about his aura, his buddy who beat him in the spell-off tiebreaker last year said. Fazan has a more nuanced explanation. After not preparing for the spell-off last year, he overcorrected, emphasizing speed during his study sessions. So, yeah, I mean, look, like I said, this would never be me. I'm glad that he won. Some kids like basketball, some kids like baseball, some kids like spelling, and I don't understand not a one of those things. So, it makes them happy and his parents happy. And in our final story, just for public service announcement numero uno out here, if you find a big cat in the wild, it could not be domesticated. A bobcat found inside a Colorado home was not impressed by lasers. I mean, who'd have thunk? Why wouldn't you be? My cats are all impressed by lasers. Sheriff deputies called to remove a bobcat from inside a Colorado resident's living room, attempted to get the animal to chase lasers, but the feline was not that impressed. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office said deputies responded to the Ken Carl home where residents had found a bobcat hiding behind their TV. Now, usually I just find wrappers and, wrappers of all kinds and socks behind my TV, but there you go. Cats and dogs like to chase laser pointers, but this bobcat was not impressed, the sheriff's office said on social media. When it wandered into a Ken Carlisle home and cozied up behind the TV, our deputies thought, outside the box, trying to get their, taser screen lasers to coax it out. But the bobcat's version, hard pass. Now the bobcat eventually left at its own pace through the back door, which had been left open. I guess some intruders aren't dazzled by our high-tech tricks, the Post said. So there you go. And our final story, bobcats are not impressed by lasers. I don't know who needed to know that in their general life, but now you have that in that mental toolbox of yours. So if you're ever approached by a bobcat, I would have deli meat on you and not a laser. I will see you guys all at 3 p.m. with Veilhammer is Not Without My Husband or Ex. Lori Vallow questioning the other woman of sorts. Just more of Lori Vallow Dorkbell being Lori Vallow Dorkbell and us making fun of it. So I will see you guys there. If I don't see you there, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire because Mother Nature doesn't know what she's doing. It's 68 and freezing rain over here. Not actual freezing rain, but it just feels freezing. So it's supposed to be May. Who knows? Who really knows? I don't know. You don't know. So have a sassy mouth in case you get stuck in a downpour. Bye, you guys.